Hello, on the jobbers, and welcome to today's live. I'm Nisha Vora. I'm a UCLA certified career coach. I have been 15 years into executive search, and we recruit for some of the top consulting firms, banking and financial services and IT. And it is this experience which I wanted to help students to navigate to the corporate world. And what we've realized is, along with a lot of hard skills, what on the job follows is an approach of experiential learning. That is, we connect with people who have actually done the job, who are actually currently in doing the job. So their career journeys will help you understand, could help you understand how to navigate through your journey, through your careers. And in this journey, what we realize is, along with the hard skills, what is so important is also the soft skills and also the mindset which a person comes with. Because you can get all the degrees in the world and all the certifications in the world, but unless you know how to get your inner self right, how to unless you develop qualities like resilience, hard work, time management, etc., it is finally these kind of skills that is going to give you an edge in the corporate world. And for this very reason, I have a wonderful guest with us today, and I'd first get him in, and then let's listen to what he has to say. Yeah, there is Eve with us.
Hi, Nisha.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So all my guests, I'd like to introduce you to Mehernosh Randeria. He is a W3 coach. A W3 is wealth, wellness, and wisdom. So yeah, I think all of us need a good dollops of all the three to achieve, success in all spheres of life. And today it's all about holistic approach towards life. And I know Meher personally, and he has a wealth of wisdom. And there are so many topics that we could be talking on. But I wanted to pick out something which could be beneficial to my students and my audience. My audience are the ones who are trying to navigate into the who are looking at career prospects, who are trying to navigate into the corporate world. And I work with a lot of teens, and believe me, the kind of things that they have to manage today is mind-boggling, right? Right from standard 8 or standard 10, you have to start thinking about you have to start thinking about your building your resume, building your thing. Like in our generation, we didn't have to think about careers right till we were in college, or even after that, and we had a lot of fun, and we just would get into it. But now you want to get into a good university, you have to build your resume. You want to get into a good internship, you have to you have to use your summer vacations in doing internships. You want to get into and even when you apply for your first job, the thing that people ask you is, what experience do you have? Even for freshers, what they want is the kind of work that you're doing, the internships that you have. And definitely it's a very challenging and a crazy world, and especially for these teenagers who also on the other side want to balance life and enjoy. So it's been thing. So Meher, I wanted to understand from you, first of all, if you can just take us through your journey, and also you can address this particular question as to how do you bring about this balance in their lives.
Sure, Nisha. Thanks, and happy to be here on the job. And welcome all students and everyone here on the live. Well, just to give a short intro about me, as Nisha said, I'm India's first and only W3 coach, and W3 stands for Wealth, Wisdom, and Wellness. And I have transitioned from being a corporate finance professional into a trainer and a coach after 18 years of working.
Yeah, one more thing I just like to interrupt, guys. So Meher is a chartered accountant who's held CFO roles in companies, and now he's got into coaching. So that completely earns my respect, because I have a lot of respect for chartered accountants. It's a tough journey. So so that's one more thing. That's why I always look at his wisdom, because he comes from the people who have actually done it. Yeah, Meher, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I've had a 18-year experience in the corporate world, handling roles like CFO and director of finance and whatnot. Some fancy titles, really. And then moved on to pursue my passion in the field of coaching and training with the help of neuro-linguistic programming. And as part of my W3 portfolio, I'm also Mumbai's first certified trainer in getting things done. Getting Things Done is the Art of Stress-Free Productivity. It is a book by David Allen, and I'm certified from David Allen himself. So, talking about balance, talking about achieving productivity in life, I learned a lot from this kind of the uh, Bible of productivity, which is Getting Things Done. So, talking about balance, firstly, let's understand what exactly is balance and what exactly is productivity. We all want to achieve too many things. We all want to do this also and that also and that also and everything in life, because we are actually honestly speaking, we are capable of achieving a lot more than what we think we are. The key point over here is when we feel it is a either or thing, or everything is mutually exclusive, and if I do X, I cannot do Y. If I focus on my career, I cannot focus on my hobbies or having fun. Or if I focus on that, I cannot grow into my business, and all the conflicting challenges which are there, the challenges of thinking, of perceiving that everything is conflicting with each other. So the key thing here is the balance, where knowing the fact that we are all capable of doing all of this, how we can actually do all of that, all the things that we do want to achieve, without being stressed out about it. And that brings me to the definition of productivity. People think productivity is like getting a lot of things done, ticking off a lot of things from your to-do list. Well, yeah, that is, you can take that as a marker of productivity, that how many things you ultimately got accomplished. But the true measure of productivity is, as the Getting Things Done philosophy says, it's about having a level of stress-free productivity. And that is knowing that when you are doing one thing, yes, there are going to be other things which are not going to get attention at that moment, but let that not come in your mind at the wrong time, at the wrong place, when you really can't do anything about it. For example, if I'm in this live with you, Nisha, and I think after this, I had actually to do this also, I have to make that call also, I have this missed call, I have to reply to that, I have to reply to that email, I have to send out that proposal. If all these things are going on in my mind right now while talking to you, then tell me how effective or how much in the moment can I be with you right now? Hardly,
Great.
right? My mind is diverted. Although I'm physically present over here, mentally I'm present all over the place. And that is not being productive. So the key to balance is knowing that when you're doing one thing, how can you know that everything else will be taken care by you, not by somebody else, by you, but not at this time. At this time, I got to be here doing what I'm doing right now, which needs my attention. And whatever rest of the things have to be done, they will be taken care of. So the idea is how we can build in a system or a set of techniques, if you may call it so, that help us to be completely present in the moment doing whatever we are doing, without being distracted of all the other things which are around us. The distractions will still be there. It's about how we manage our mind in the midst of all the distractions.
That's great. So I just wanted to understand. So where does this process start? Like, how can they identify their goals, and how can they set up the process? And there are a lot of these. Yesterday you were telling me about a lot of these tools and techniques which people can use to kind of get more efficient and get more productive. So even if I'm using, say, half an hour or 1 hour into one particular task, how can I make the most of that particular task so that then I have free time for other things? So that's what we want to do. Okay, I should, I can do I can do different things, but then I should be when I'm doing a particular thing, if I'm focused and if I'm able to achieve the maximum, then I can move on to my parties. Like if I'm studying well for 1 hour, I can move on to my parties without feeling guilty about it.
Exactly.
So could you tell us some of the secret tools which we can get more productive?
Certainly. Before coming to the tools, let me just tell you about the mindset of productivity, which I told you is about emptying your mind or keeping it in the moment, focused in the moment. So there are 5 simple steps to achieving that kind of productivity. the first step is not keeping anything in your head, keeping it all outside your head. What I mean by that is that capturing everything that has your attention into some tool or some book or some notepad or whatever capture tool you want to have, that's entirely your choice. But whatever comes to your mind, even let's say if I am with you right now and a thought pops into my mind, how about just making a note in a notebook next to me, always carrying a paper and pen with me, or any kind of app, maybe Google Keep or any memo pad or Evernote or whatever, all these apps are available. Keeping handy a note-taking tool that can be a depository of all your thoughts which pop up at the wrong time, at the wrong place, when you can't do anything about it. So that when you are engaged in something, you are completely focused. It could even be that if I'm studying or if I'm doing some certain job which requires my full attention, and I get reminded, oh yeah, I have to call up my friend. Okay, but right now I am studying. If I'm going to call up my friend right now, I'm going to get distracted from what I'm doing. So ensuring that that task of calling up your friend is not missed out, you just make a note of it. It's like creating a mini to-do list. But that's the first step which everything starts with. That don't keep anything in your head, just bring it outside. And for that, I think one of the mindset is that you got to be on a mission. Do not allow any thought to escape from your mind.
Good.
Keep a tool handy where whatever comes to your mind, you just note it down over there. Now, once you're done with the task that you are engaged in, and I'll tell you the tools that can help you to do that as well. But once you're done with the task that you're engaged in, then go back and look at all those pointers that you had made. Then you process them that, okay, what do I have to do with this? Why did this thought even cross my mind while I was busy doing something which was so important? Okay, now what I have to do? Now translate that into a to-do list. So all the pointers that may have come up in your mind need to be dealt with. If they are not dealt with doesn't mean getting them done right away in that moment, but dealt with in the sense that seeing a closure to them, at least in your mind, so that they don't keep popping up again at the wrong time, at the wrong place. So which means either parking them in a to-do list or asking somebody else to do them for you, or maybe deciding this was just an idle thought. Drop it. I can't do anything anyway about it. So the way you deal with all those tasks which you have come up with, you can follow a simple 4D principle. 4D is about do, delegate, defer, or drop. The first D is that if there is something which I've written down and now I'm free in the moment and right now I can do it. I can do it right now and that will take me 2 minutes or less to just complete it and move on to the next thing. I just do it. That is the first D of do. Second thing, I may feel, okay, I have to tell my friend, or I could just, delegate it to my sibling, or I have to just tell my mother or my father something that I want and just ek baat bol diya and then they'll do it. That in the professional setup we call it delegate, but the same principles delegate apply even in our students' life. Okay, there is no official delegation reporting authority over here, but delegating is something that you have asked somebody else to do for you, and that person will do it. Until it's done, it is still going to have your attention. I'm going to wonder whether my friend did it or not, whether my mother will take care of it or not, whether my sibling will do it or not. So you delegate it and make a note of it. Maybe in a different section, maybe in all these tools like Evernote or Todoist and all these, they come up with different sections where you can just create different lists. Create a list of all that I have asked somebody else to do.
Great.
So that it's there. Again, the idea of creating that list is that it doesn't pop up in your head at the wrong times.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the second D, which is delegate.
Correct.
The third D is I have to do it. But it's not going to be less than 2 minutes. It will take some more time. So I will defer it to do it later. Now defer is, I would say, it's not procrastination as such, okay, baad mein karenge. It's about I would rather call it as purposeful procrastination. Knowing very well that right now I have to attend to something which is really important, but this thing also is important. Let me put it on my calendar, or I'll do it at a certain time in the future. Again, it can go on the calendar or a certain to-do list. The defer items are those which will go on the to-do list. Because do is what I've already done. Delegate is what I've given or asked somebody else to do and I put it in my delegated list. And defer is what I will do later on. That specifically will go to the to-do list.
Great.
Now, one more principle to keep in mind when you're doing the to-do list. Let's say a thought pops in my head and I put on paper that I want to learn guitar. Okay, I've always wanted to learn guitar and it keeps popping up. Maybe when I watch a YouTube video and I see somebody playing guitar, it pops up in my app, learn guitar. I really am keen on learning guitar. And because I know that, because it keeps popping up at times when I really can't go and learn guitar right now, I have noted it down. Now, this is something I can't do in 2 minutes or less. I can't delegate it. I have to learn it. So now I'm deferring it. I'll put it in my to-do list. Now, most people make a mistake over here of writing in the to-do list, learn guitar. And the to-do list is already so long and they have this item, learn guitar. Whenever the to-do list pops up, they say, learn guitar. Oh my God. Oh, kahan se shuru kare? Baad mein dekhenge. And that becomes the reason for procrastinating. Because you're not clear, okay, what is the immediate step that you have to do?
Okay.
So when you're putting it on when you're putting it on your to-do list, don't put learn guitar. Be clear what will be the very next step that will take you forward towards learning guitar. Maybe Google online for guitar classes. Or maybe search an app that can teach me guitar. Or maybe I already know an app. Download the app. Or maybe I know a friend who plays guitar very well. I will talk to him or her. So here also be very clear that what your next action, very specific next action, and that is what will go on your to-do list. So it could be call up my friend to find out about guitar classes. Now when your to-do list contains something like that, call up my friend to find out about guitar classes, it becomes actionable, it becomes very granular, it becomes very doable. Rather than saying learn guitar. Learn guitar, rakhenge to it will keep procrastinating. Okay, later. Right now, too many things to do. But calling my friend regarding guitar classes, it's very clear and actionable. And that is what gets things done.
Great.
So that is the secret in the third D of defer. And finally, the last D is whatever is distracting, whatever is something that can't be done, just drop it without any guilt.
Okay.
This is included in the 4D model because of that guilt factor. You know,
Yes.
I want to do this because my friends have done it. I want to do this because there is a peer pressure. I want to do this because for some reason my parents are telling me to do it. See, till you are clear about what you want to do, it will not happen. And let your to-do list not just be an inventory of things that you don't want to miss out on. Don't let the fear of missing out, the FOMO, decide your to-do list.
Major.
Yeah. That's perfectly fine. And in fact, if you think that right now I don't have the bandwidth, but still I'm cluttering my to-do list with everything, it's okay to have one simple bucket list.
Great.
If time permits, if at all I think of doing this, I will do it at later time. It's like I call it as a ITP list, which is if time permits, I will do this. David Allen in GTD calls it the someday maybe list. Some people call it bucket list. Whatever name you want to give it, understand the principle behind it. It's okay to defer some things to a later date when I have the bandwidth and the pursuance to do it. So
this is great.
Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
So is it okay? No, so this is great. So we are like from a larger goal and from the big picture, we are trying and breaking it down to actual actionables, actual doables, and bringing it down to some, and also putting tasks in a way that we achieve a lot of things yet be guilt free, because right now nowadays we
Exactly.
want to do everything and we feel extremely guilty about not doing a couple of things extra.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is great. This is it. So
Great.
Meher, I just also wanted to know about all these now, since we brought it down to the tasks which we actually perform. But even when we are down to it, we have so much of distractions around us. We have
Yeah.
so many distractions, or even sometimes we are just sitting on our place and daydreaming, and the mind is wandering in
Yeah.
all particular places and all. And so then we are sitting on this thing for 3 hours and 4 hours and we have not achieved anything. So you were telling me about this Pomodoro and this Pareto
Yeah.
principles, etc. And so if
Yes.
you can just take our viewers across that, and eat this dirty frog first, because those are some of the things which
Yeah.
we've discussed and which have helped me a lot. And if you can share
Correct.
the same, that'd be great.
Sure. Sure. So I'm going to share four secrets that can really help you to be
Yes.
completely productive and completely in the moment doing what you want. One of the things, the fifth one was already the process of doing the 4D principle. The other four things are these. Number one, be clear about what goals you want to have. Be clear about what you want to achieve.
Correct.
That can be a lighthouse for you. When you know, it could be like now as a student, you will say that students will say, I don't know what I'm going to do 1 year from now, 3 years from now, what my career is going to be. I will take it in the flow. And that's perfectly fine to go by the flow.
Correct.
What I'm saying is, in the moment right now, what are the things that you want to focus on? What are your big rocks that are really, really important in your life? And make a note of all of them. And that can be the guiding light to even decide whether you will do something or drop something. That will be the thing that will give you a direction. And keep that goal list with you so that you know exactly what you have to do. That is the first secret. The second secret is when you are actually doing a task, there is a technique called as a Pomodoro technique. A Pomodoro technique is where you are doing something and you give yourself a focused time to do it. I'll give you an example. If you have to maybe read for your subject, for your studies, some people say that, read for 2 hours together without getting up from there. Now that actually is counterproductive. Okay, that tells, oh my God, 2 hours. You're already kind of stressed out in your mind. That mental fatigue will happen even before you know it. I can't sit for 2 hours. And you are resisting that fighting for 2 hours, and then you're just simply doing it just because you have to do it. Chunk that down into smaller bits. The Pomodoro technique says that study for 25 minutes, or whatever work you're doing. Do that work for 25 minutes at a stretch. 25 minutes, switch off your phone, keep your phone away, keep only those things that are needed to do this. If you're reading a book, keep only your book, maybe a highlighter, maybe your note-taking pad, that's it. And do that for a straight duration of 25 minutes. You can put a timer. The Pomodoro techniques actually talk about a timer which you can set for 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, when the timer goes off, you set the timer again for 5 minutes. In that 5 minutes, you can do whatever you want. You can check your mails, you can check your social media, you can do a daydream. Jo karna hai karo, move around a bit, take a break. Actually take a break from whatever you were doing in that 25 minutes. After 5 minutes, this requires a timer, because then here there is a trap. If you don't put a timer, you keep going on that break for a longer time. After 5 minutes, come back, another timer of 25 minutes. Do your task in a dedicated mode, do not disturb mode, distractions off. Then again, 5-minute break, then again 25 minutes, 5 minutes, 25 minutes, 5 minutes. Like that, ideally you can break down a 2 hours of session into 25-5, 25-5, 25-5, 25-5. And then it doesn't end with just this 2 hours. At the end of that 2 hours, reward yourself with a full half an hour break. In that break, you will not come back and do the work that you were doing. And this is a very, very effective and powerful technique that trains your brain to know that, yeah, there are rewards coming up. I'm not going to miss out on anything because after 25 minutes, I've already factored time for that 5 minutes where I will look at whatever I want to look at, whatever distractions I want to have. I'm setting aside time for that. Understand one principle, that what you resist will persist. And if you're resisting distractions, those distractions will persist. So I'm not telling you don't have distractions or do away with distractions. I'm just saying set aside time for those distractions so your mind gets that reward, that pleasure. Okay, I'm going to do it. And that also acts as a reward for doing whatever you were doing. So that's a very, very powerful tool. That is the Pomodoro technique. And there are a lot of apps available as well. One of the apps which I use for Pomodoro is Focus To Do. Focus To Do. The Focus To Do app allows you to set a timer of 25-5, 25-5. In fact, it's flexible. If you want to keep 30-10, 30-10, you want to keep 25, whatever you want to do, you can set those timers as per your convenience. The work really gets done a lot faster and with a lot of dedicated mode when you are following the Pomodoro. So that is the second secret. Another technique which works very well for me, and I've seen it work for a lot of students as well, is in that you can even combine this with Pomodoro or you do it individually also. In that slot of time where you're working, instrumental music will keep playing in the background and you can do your work, you can read. It's important the music is instrumental, not something that that is going to play with some lyrics or vocals, because then you'll be tended to go ahead with that flow. Also, another effective tool which will help you in selecting an instrumental music, don't pick up an instrumental music of a song because you'll start humming along with it.
Yeah.
Have some nice, natural, soft, soothing, relaxing music. There is a set of music which is called as Baroque music. You can search on YouTube. B-A-R-O-Q-U-E. Baroque music. And these are music which are like focus music. They help you in focusing and concentrating on what you're doing. Even otherwise, you look up on YouTube and search for focus music, concentration music. You'll find a lot of them. Don't use familiar music because that can distract you when you want to do your work.
Exactly.
Okay, that is another secret. And one more secret I can share with you on this is, and this is something which I use a lot. Turn off all notifications.
Correct.
I call it the notification diet. It's the most healthy diet you can have.
Absolutely.
Because when you are having any notifications on in your mobile or in your laptop or in your tab, whatever you're using, it pulls your attention from what you're doing. You may say, okay, but I want to know what happens, what comes, because I don't want to miss out on that. It's important. Again, the fear of missing out is there. The FOMO tells us that, okay, the notifications are important. Don't do that. When you keep notifications on, you are at the mercy of your device. You are at the mercy of other people pulling your attention whenever they are doing something. You put the notification off. In fact, set aside time, maybe as part of Pomodoro or separately, set aside time where you will look at your social media handles, where you will check your email,
Correct.
Whatever apps you are using. Have some time set aside for that. That will ensure that you are in control of your time and not somebody else who randomly sends you a message. You don't even know whether the message is important for you. But to know whether the message is important for you or not, you have to anyway open the message and look at the notification. So,
and then that takes you to a whole different thing. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Once you open that social media, then gone.
Yeah.
It's going to
Correct.
pull you away, carry you off in that. So these are some of the secrets which are really useful that you can use.
Wow, that's really wonderful, and I mean it's so needed, especially today in this time of this attention span. Where our attention spans are decreasing, and we are surrounded by so much of distraction all the time, which which things. So these are some of the tools which are really going to help us. I just want to share with our viewers something which I personally use. It's a something very simple and small. So like even I'm trying to manage multiple things at a time, two businesses and say home and n number of things,
Yeah.
the fitness and the thing. So one thing that my guru taught me, it's a very simple thing, is just list down, of course, from you have these huge to-do lists and whatever, just pick out some two things or say three things कि कुछ भी हो ये तो करना ही है. These three things I have
Yeah.
to complete today, irrespective of what. I mean, I will have a lot of things, I have multiple things and stuff like that, but even if I have not completed everything, at least these three tasks I'm going to complete come what may. So if you follow that, I mean, that's really helped me to at least focus and get some things done, if not all, at least get some things done. And then another thing which even me and Meher were discussing is eat the dirty frog first. Always, there are some
Yeah.
tasks which you keep putting off till the end. And they sometimes tend to be important tasks, but because you don't like them. So in our case, it's sometimes business development. Like, we hate making sales calls and stuff. So we'll try and put it off in the end. Or sometimes for a student, if you don't like a particular subject, say math or say eco, you'll try and put that to the end. But actually the tool to productivity is to go and tackle that thing which is causing you discomfort at the beginning. And then once that entire difficult thing has been set aside, then the rest of it becomes easier and better. Great. So Meher,
Exactly.
any other with Meher we have like a host of things that we could discuss and still talk about. And I think there's one more thing which Meher does, is it's called neuro linguistic programming, which it works a lot on your mind. It is basically using a lot of techniques about the mind and about language and about understanding other people. And because these kind of skills come a lot into the picture in successful life. And I really hope to do a separate session completely on that, because there's so much to learn in that particular thing.
Certainly. Yeah.
So right from one thing. So Meher, just briefly, if you can just tell us some of the other things as a student, and you are a dad as well as for the student community. So what can they do to kind of achieve to be better in life, and to get that edge in life? What any thoughts on that?
Sure, sure. And so two things I would like to share. One is that know your outcome very clearly, know your goals very clearly. Otherwise, you'll just be like a boat without a destination,
Correct.
a boat without a captain, and that boat will just drift away anywhere.
Correct.
So I know the goalposts can change, and that's perfectly fine. But just because the goalposts can change should not prevent you from assigning a goal right now. Right now, what do you want to do? Be clear about that. And this clarity is required in all the areas of your life. Not just in studies, not just in career, even in terms of your health, your wellness, even in terms of your relationships with family, with friends, with if you have that significant person in your life, with that person. So be very clear and let that be the goalpost guiding you to do all the actions.
Correct.
In fact, that determines the distinction between being efficient and being effective. See, all these techniques for productivity, which I told you, will make you more efficient in doing whatever you want to do. More efficient in doing it with great output, or rather speed, accuracy, focus. All that will improve. That is all part of efficiency. But knowing what you want to do will ensure that you are being effective and not only being efficient. The bottom line here is that efficiency is doing things in the right way, doing the things right. And effectiveness is doing the right things.
Correct.
And that's why what's important is that you do the things which are right and then do them in the right way.
Wow.
The second thing I want to give as a message to the teenagers, and for that matter everybody out here, that we think that since there are too many things, we must handle all of them at once. I'm talking about this wonderful myth called multitasking. And we think we can do this also and that also and that also and that also. Yeah, multitasking is possible knowing when we say that, yeah, I'm doing several things in my life. But knowing that I have to do several things in my life, I cannot do all of them at the same time.
Correct.
Because multitasking requires certain bandwidth. We all have limited psychic bandwidth, capacity of our mind. And when we are doing multitasking, let's say I'm preparing a report and side by side I'm checking my mobile as well. And okay, I'm working on this, but parallelly I'm doing my checking messages also. It's not going to happen. You may think it's happening. You may think you are so brilliant in multitasking. But let me tell you, it's like reducing your productivity by at least 30%. Because the switch factor is involved between the time you are doing this and you're doing that, and then every time you're switching, it requires you to recoup whatever was happening earlier. And you may think, but I know I'm very smart at that. Sorry. Our brain works on the principle of single tasking, not multitasking.
Okay.
And so, like what I started in the beginning of the session, that whenever you have other thoughts, jot them down. The solution to solve multitasking is by putting them in a system where you know when you're doing one thing, you know the other things are also there, and your brain is kept at peace and stress-free, that other things will also take care of themselves. Rather not themselves, you will take care of them, but that is a different time that will happen and not at this time.
Okay. So that's so great. And since, you've been telling us about jotting it down and all, since I'm a very good student, I just wanted to show you my planner, which, this is the different areas of my life and how I can, I jot it down so that I hope to accomplish, at least, like I said, some of it and try to lead a well-balanced life, which all of us want to do. Another thing which Meher said brought about a wonderful visual to me. I'd seen this video some time back where, there is this stream going, and then, there is a pole at the other end, and then you are having a rope, which, you are having a rope and and you're tying the rope to that end pole, and you know that you want to go there. And so that is the process of your goal, and like he said, your outcome. And unless you are very sure of that, otherwise, you will be in the river and you'll be drifting left and you'll be drifting right, and there's no end to the you'll just land up in places where you don't want to be, and then again you'll taken so much effort to come back to the right path. So it's important that you have that goal post in mind, and that rope, which is the task which are going to take you towards that. And that's definitely something which is so important in your life, in your career, in your process. So it's Meher, this has been a wonderful session. We've had so many takeaways and thing. And like I said, we really any comments, any questions from the audience, we are really happy to take. And and we hope to have a longer session with we want to have a session where we are directly working with students, helping them set their goals, helping them with their principles and tasks, so that we put them on that, we help them get on the path which they really need to get onto, right? So audience, any questions?
Like
and
exactly.
Any questions if you have, you can type it in now.
In fact, Nisha, I saw the visual that you put up was the mind map. And mind map is another very powerful tool that can be used by students, not only to plan your way forward, even for your day-to-day thinking, for whatever you are using. So mind map is another powerful tool that can be used. Yes.
Great. So yeah, like there are a host of tools and all, and believe me guys, every time I've learned something new, it has taken us one step to become better, more effective, more productive. And this is overall helping us in life, because we are those people who want to enjoy life as well, and yet we want to do something meaningful. And in your case, maybe you want to party and you still want to get good grades. So everything is possible if you like, delve into this wealth of information and actually apply it in your life. So yeah, that's great, Meher, and thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for being with On the Job, and we hope to have more sessions with you, and we hope to delve more into this wealth of information that you have.
Certainly, my pleasure entirely, and always happy to be with you on the job. And
yes,
good.
Thank you so much.
Value to everyone here. Great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nisha.